Alright, let's consider this question. The question says how many grams of CO2 are produced when 25 grams of butane burn? The atomic masses of the elements involved have been given as carbon is 12, hydrogen 1 and oxygen is 16. So the first step here is to write a balanced chemical equation for this reaction. So we are going to start by writing a balanced chemical equation for the reaction. So you say butane is carbon 4, reacts with oxygen and it will yield CO2 and water. Remember, when any hydrocarbon bonds in air, CO2 and hydrogen and water is always given off, CO2 and water. So but this equation is not balanced, so we need to balance the equation. So since we have hydrogen here as 2 and we have hydrogen here as 10, equation is not balanced. Carbon is 4 here and carbon is 1, so we need to balance the equation. C4 plus H10 plus O2 CO2 plus H2O. So since hydrogen here is 10, we're going to add 10 here. And when we add 10 here, hydrogen becomes 20. So you add 2 here. 2 times 10 is 20. So hydrogen is balanced here. And hydrogen is also balanced here. So now carbon is now 8 here. So you add 8 here. So if you add 8 here, carbon is now 8. So carbon is balanced. So left with oxygen. Oxygen is 2 here. And oxygen is 16 here. So 16 plus 10. The 10 here affects both hydrogen and oxygen. So that will give you 26 oxygen. So we are going to add 13 here to balance the equation. So the equation is now balanced because we are going to use this balanced equation to solve the equation. So from here, the first thing you should know that 2 moles of butane will yield 8 moles of CO2. So the next thing to calculate is the molar mass of butane and the molar mass of CO2. So the molar mass of butane will be 4 times 12 plus 10 times 1. That will give you 58. You can confirm that in your calculator. 58 gram per mole. So we also calculate the molar mass of CO2. The molar mass of CO2 here will be, that is CO2 will be carbon, which is 12, plus 2 times oxygen, which is 16. Remember the atomic mass of oxygen is 16. So that will give us 44 gram per mole. So the molar mass of butane is 58 gram per mole, and that of carbon dioxide is 44 gram per mole. So the question says, how many grams of CO2 are produced when 25 gram of butane burn? So 25 gram of butane, we need to calculate the number of moles. Number of moles will be what? 25 gram of butane all over the what? The molar mass. That will give us 0.43 mole. 0.43 mole. And we cannot calculate the number of moles of carbon dioxide because we don't know the mass of carbon dioxide that has been yielded. So we are going to use these parameters here, that 2 moles of butane yields 8 moles of CO2. Therefore 0.43 mole will yield 8 times 0.43 divided by 2. So from here we are cross multiplying this times this divided by this. So if you press your calculator, you will get 1.72 moles of CO2. So that means 0.43 mole of CO2, which is equivalent to 25 gram, will yield 1.72 moles of CO2. So we need to convert this to mass, to gram. To convert this to gram, we are going to say that the mass of CO2 yield when 25 gram of butane bond will be 1.72 mole multiplied by the molar mass of CO2, which is 44, and our final answer will be 75.7 gram 75.7 gram of CO2 will be formed. So follow for more questions like this in chemistry.